Hi, welcome to Learn and Master Guitar, Session 2. We're going to cover some very important concepts today that all guitarists should know. We're going to learn how to read music, a very important skill for you to know as a guitarist, to be able to get the most out of your playing. We're going to learn about the music staff, what some of the names of the notes are, the rhythms and rests. We're going to learn about playing with tablature, which is how you're going to see a lot of the guitar music that you're going to work with. We'll have music notation at the top and tablature at the bottom. So we're going to learn how to tie those two together. And then last, we're going to learn about the notes on the first and second strings. We're going to learn our first notes, first 6 notes. I look forward to it, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, you ready to learn how to read music? So many people think reading music is just incredibly complicated and no human could ever understand it, and certainly no adult could ever learn it as an adult. Usually you may learn it as a kid. I've been working with people of all ages for years, and I have not found that to be true. Adults can pick this up as easily as kids, and I can explain it to you in just a couple of short minutes of how to read music. Ready? Let's go ahead and start. Music is written on a music staff. A music staff consists of 5 lines and 4 spaces. The music staff goes across from left to right, just like if you were reading a book. The music travels along like that. Think of it like a timeline. You need to divide that timeline up into equal segments, and those are called measures. And you divide them by little bars called bar lines. When you get to the end of a song, you have a big thick bar there. That's your double bar line at the end. It means that you're at the end of the song. Let's get back to those 5 lines and 4 spaces. That's going to be real important. Where the note is on the staff, whether it's low or high, determines whether it's a high note or a low note. Okay? If it's at the top of the part of the staff, it's a real high note. If it's at the bottom part of the staff, it's a low note. So as you're traveling up, it would be traveling up in pitch. Da 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 da, up like that. Now let's talk about the lines. We're going to learn the notes on the lines. Like I said in the first session, the musical alphabet goes from A to G, and then it just starts repeating. So I can't tell you to play an M or a T or a V or anything like that, but we can go from A to G and just keep repeating. On the first line of our staff, there's 5 lines. On that bottom line, that's the first line. If a note is on there, it's an E. If it's on the second line, it's a G. The third line is a B. The fourth line is a D, and the 5th line is an F. E, G, B, D, F. Wait a minute, don't get confused. Sounds an awful lot like the names of our strings. 2 completely different concepts. Use some of the same notes, but 2 completely different concepts, so don't get confused. The notes on the lines are E, G, B, D, and F. Well, just as letter names, they're kind of hard to remember. So how everybody remembers them is every good boy does fine, corresponding to the E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy does fine. Okay, let's practice, see how well you remember. If the note is here, what is it? Good. What about if it's here? And what about here? Learning the notes is very important. We've learned the notes on the lines. Every good boy does fine. Kind of rhymes with line. It's a good way to remember it. Now we're going to talk about the notes that are on the spaces. In between those lines, the note can also be on those spaces. There's only 4 of those. So counting up from the bottom, the first one of those, the first space, that note is an F. The second space, an A. The third space, a C. The 4th space, an E. F, A, C, and E, which conveniently spells the word face, which kind of rhymes with space, so that's a good way to remember, keep track of both of them. So let's practice the notes on the spaces. If the note is here, what is it? And what about this one? What about if it's here? And lastly, what if it's here? What note is that? Great. Now, let's mix it up a little bit. We're going to mix up between lines and spaces. I'll give you a little practice on that. So if the note is here, what would that be? Now let's switch over. What if it's here? What would that be? What about this one? Is that on a line or a space? That's what you need to ask yourself. And then you put in the right phrase that goes with that. What about this one? And lastly, what about this one? Pretty good. Got a handle on those? Now, the notes can also be above or below the staff as well. So they can be in between. We've learned the notes that are on those 5 lines and on those 4 spaces, but they can also be higher than that. What if I wanted to play a note that's higher than that? How does that work? Well, you can do that. That's no problem at all. Let's count up. Let's go up first. So let's start. Here's a D. 4th line. And then let's go up 1. What would this one be? Well, that would be an E. That's that top space. If we go up 1 more, we're on that top line. That would be an F. Now, if I want to go higher than that, I put my note up on top of that top staff. And what do you think that one would be? Well, let's figure it out. D, E, F. The next one would be G. Now, if I need to go up higher than that, that's no problem at all. Although, I can't just have my note hanging up here in space. I have to add a line to it. So you kind of have a reference point of where it is in relationship to the other lines. That little line is called a ledger line. And it's very important. Now, let's go down. Let's go the other way. We're going to start on let's start on a G on that line. Now we're going to go down 1 more. This is the first space. That would be an F. Now we're down to the first line, an E. Now if I go 1 more underneath that, what do you think that one would be? Now we're going in reverse. It's a little bit trickier. G, F, E. This one would be a D. And if I need to go down a little bit further, if I go down 1 more, of course I'd have to add my ledger line there, and this would be a C. Now we're going down backwards in the staff. Okay, so there's the names of the notes. If it's on a line, every good boy does fine. If it's on a space, F-A-C-E. If it's above or below, you just have to count them up and add up from there. Now let's learn about rhythm. All right, let's talk about rhythm now. Rhythm, it tells us how long the notes are. Notes come in different lengths. We're talking about the lengths of the notes now. You still with me? I haven't bored you too much now on the music reading end of things. Let's go for rhythm just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into some guitar playing. The first note we need to learn about is the whole note. That would be an open circle, nothing inside, no stem on it or anything, and that gets 4 beats. Whole notes get 4 beats. I wish there was a good way you could do this other than memorizing it, but I don't know. You just need to memorize it. Whole notes get 4 beats. That would be 4. So if I'm counting, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a whole note. If I was playing it, it'd be something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a whole note. A half note is an open circle, and it has a stem on it. Now, the stem will point either direction, either up or down. It doesn't matter which way the stem points. The stem can point up or down. What matters is that it has a stem. If it has a stem and it's an open circle, it's a half note, and half notes get 2 beats. So we've talked about whole notes get 4, half notes get 2. Okay, let's talk about 2 more. If it's a filled-in circle and has a stem, blackened out circle and a stem, that's what's called a quarter note. And he gets 1 beat. Think of it like a whole dollar. A whole note is filled with 4 quarters. 4 quarter note gets 1 beat, so it takes 4 of them to fill up a whole dollar. Half notes get 2 beats, so it takes 2 of them to make up a whole note. Now the last one we're going to talk about is an 8th note. He gets a half a beat, so it takes 2 eighth notes to make up 1 quarter note, 2 quarter notes to make up 1 half note, 2 half notes to make up 1 whole note. Don't get lost in all that. It's just a couple things you need to remember. Whole notes get 4, half notes get 2, quarter notes get 1, and eighth notes get a half a beat. We'll learn more about eighths in a coming session. We won't deal with eighths too much right now. Now let's talk about the measures. Inside of those measures, we have to have sound and silence. Sound is represented by the notes. Now we're going to talk about how do I want to notate if I want silence in there. Well, now we're going to talk about rests. With each one of the notes that we just went through, there's a corresponding rest that goes with it as well. It's just a little symbol that represents not playing for a certain amount of time. The first one we're going to cover is a whole rest, which looks like a dash that hangs down from the line. Whole rest gets 4 beats, just like a whole note gets 4 beats. The next one is a half rest. A half rest gets 2 beats, just like a half note gets 2 beats. Now, half rest, be careful, is a dash that sticks up from the line. Just to confuse you, they're just almost look exactly the same. How does everybody tell the difference? Well, the whole note has more beats in it, so it's heavier, so it hangs down from the line. That's how everybody remembers it. That's how I got through music school remembering it. So you got whole notes, whole rest, half notes, half rest. The next one is a quarter rest. Quarter rest kind of looks like an upside down lightning bolt looking thing. That's a quarter rest, and he's good for 1 beat. So if I want you to play for 1 beat, I give you a quarter note. Quarter rest for if I want you to be quiet for 1 beat, or be silent for 1 beat. Last one is an eighth rest. An eighth rest kind of looks like a backwards italicized 7. That's a symbol for that. That's an eighth rest, and that would mean that you are silent for a half a beat. Got it? Whole rests, whole notes, 4 beats. Half rests, half notes, 2 beats. Quarter rests and notes, 1 beat. Eighth rests and notes, a half a beat. Only 2 more musical concepts I need to teach you before we're off and running and learning our first notes. First one is the treble clef. This cursive S-looking thing you'll see at the beginning of every piece of music, every line of piece of music that you'll be playing. All that is telling you is that the music you're about to see is written for guitar or flute or trumpet or clarinet, anything like that. That's a high in pitch. That's a treble clef. Make sure that is on the front of every piece of music that you play, and generally it will be. You won't need to worry about it. The next one is going to be the time signature. Right after the clef, you're going to see the time signature. It's 2 numbers on top of each other. Most of the time it will be a 4 and a 4. And that's just telling you exactly how many beats are going to be in each measure. The top number is the one that's important. It tells you how many beats are going to be in each measure. Think of it as a timeline. They have to divide it up into equal segments. The time signature tells you what they are. Now, the most common time signature that we play in here in the Western world is 4 beats per measure. You'll see a 4 and then a 4 on top of it. Okay? It's so common, folks just call it common time. Sometimes they even abbreviate the term common time to just be a C. So sometimes you'll see after that treble clef, sometimes you'll see a 4-4, sometimes you'll just see a C. All of it means the same thing to you, 4 beats per measure. All right, enough of all that music stuff. Let's get down to playing a little bit. All right, at last we're down to playing. Now we're finally getting to the good stuff. We're going to talk about the notes on the first string, that E string. There's 3 notes on that E string, okay, that we're going to learn today. E, F, and G. Here's how they look in music notation. When you see the E, that top space, that's not just any E, that's first string open, which would be like this. That would be E. If I put my first finger on the first fret, still on that first string, and play that, that's F, which is the top line on your music staff. Every good boy does fine. So we've got E, we've got F, and the third one is G. We come up to our third finger on the 3rd fret, and that's G. So let's play them together. E, F, G. One more time. E, F. Good downstrokes with our pick. We're bracing with our hand. G. Hold it out. Keep that pressure on it nice and long. Good. E, F, and G. Those are the notes that we're going to learn on the first string. Now, let's do the first exercise that's in your book. You'll notice we're dealing with whole notes. How many beats do whole notes get? Whole notes get 4 beats. Okay? Now, as you're looking at that exercise, you've got the music notation at the top. You've also got your tablature notation at the bottom. That tells you where to put your fingers, or which strings are being played, rather, and where to fret the notes. Okay? So you get a little bit of both. You get the music notation and the other. And I would suggest that you go ahead and write in above those notes the names of the notes, because you'll learn all kinds of stuff now. You learn how to read music and to play the notes and where they're at on the guitar. Go ahead and write in the notes above those pitches for that first exercise. I've got the first couple written in for you. Go ahead and take a second and write those in. Okay, got them written in? Here we go. Let's play it. I'll play the first couple of bars for you so you can kind of see how this goes. We're picking with our right hand over here. We got an E, which is open, on the first string as the first note. So it would be like this. Ready, play. 2, I hold it out for 4 beats. 3, 4, then F, 2, 3, 4, then G, 2, 3, 4, then back to F, 2, 3, open E now, 2, third finger G, 2, 3, 4, and last one, E, 2, 3, 4, and you've got a double line. That means we're stopped. All right, now let's try and play that one together. You ready? Let's try it together. Ready, play. E, 2, 3, 4. Now F. Make sure you're fingering good. Now here comes a G. 2, 3, 4. F. Keep that finger pressure on all the way through that. Here comes the E. 2, 3, 4. G. 2, 3, 4. E. 2, 3, 4. Very good. You're reading music and you're playing your guitar. Let's go to exercise number 2. Now we get into half notes. Remember, half notes get 2 beats, so we're going slightly quicker on this one. Let's play it together. Ready, play. E, 1, 2. Now comes an F. 1, 2. Back to E. 1, 2. G. Back to F. G. Back to F. 1, 2. E. 2. Very good. Now let's go to the next one, exercise 3. Exercise 3, has quarter notes. Now we're getting even faster. Whole notes get 4 beats, half notes get 2 beats, quarter notes get 1 beat. Here we go. Let's play exercise number 3 together. Ready? Starts on that E. Bracing our hand. Got good hand position here. Our hands nice and open on our left hand. Ready? Start. E, E, now an F, G. Here comes a half note. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's talk about how do you stop a note. If you've got an open string like this, and I want to stop it, well, how do I stop it from ringing? Well, I can stop it a couple of different ways. If I put my palm down on it on this end, I can stop it there. Or I can also just touch the strings with my left hand, and that stops it there. If I'm playing, let's say, a G, and I'm fretting the note, well, how do I stop that note? I can just let off the pressure, and it stops. I don't need to necessarily even take my finger off the guitar. I just need to let off the pressure, and it comes up. Well, let's do that last one, exercise 4. You ready? Starts on a G this time. Third finger, first string. Ready? Go. 1, 2, down to E. 1, 2, F. 1, 2, E. Now a G, go. 1, 2. Very good. Okay, let's talk about the notes on the second string. On the first string, we had E, F, and G. Now on the second string, we're going to learn 3 notes as well. On the second string, that B string, if you played it open, that's going to be B, the third line up. Now we're on the second string with the first finger. This one's going to be called a C. Now third finger on that second string is a D. So we have B, let's play them together, C, first finger, third finger D. Great. Let's take a look at that first exercise. It involves whole notes, and whole notes get what? Whole notes get 4 beats. Let's play this together. Ready? Starting on that B. Ready, play. 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3, 4, D. 2, 3, 4, B. 2, 3, back to D now. 2, 3, 4, B. 2, 3, 4, and lastly C. 2, 3, 4. Everybody got it? Okay, now we're going to skip down. Since we've already spent a little bit of time on it, let's skip the half note exercise. I want you to do that on your own, but just for the sake of time, let's move on to number 3. This involves quarter notes. Let's play this one. Starts on that B again. Nice and slow and steady. Here we go. Ready, play. B, another B, first finger C, there you go. D, 1, 2. Next measure, B, C, D, and 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now, there's the fourth exercise there too. I'll leave you to do that on your own. Main thing, as you're playing, you want to make sure you're having good hand position on your left hand, good hand position on your right hand, and that you're playing nice and steady. I don't care about speed at this point as much as I do steadiness, that you're able to change between the notes at the proper time without hesitating or anything like that. Now let's get to playing notes on both the first and the second strings. Okay, now we're going to talk about all the notes that we've learned so far. Let's review. On the first string, we've got E, F, and G. E, first finger F, third finger G. On the second string now, we've got open B, first finger C, third finger D. So not only are we worried about playing these, we're also worried about reading them. I would encourage you to go back and write in the notes. If you're having trouble remembering what's a D, what's a C, write those notes in above the exercises. At this stage of the game, you need all the help you can get in these exercises. We've included a bunch of exercises for each of the strings. You have more exercises for the first string, more exercises for the second string, and more exercises for both of these strings together. I would encourage you to play through all these exercises. You need every bit of help going through these exercises. That is going to pay off when we get more and more strings and more notes involved. You're going to really thank yourself that you went through these exercises. So don't just go through them once and conquer them. Go through them, and then when you come back again the next day, go through them again. You'll find you'll be able to do them faster and faster and faster, and that's where we're going. Let's talk about doing the first and second string, mixing and combining all of the notes. You ready? We're going to do exercise number 1. Starts on that first string, open E. We'll take it easy this first time through. Ready, play. E, now to an F. Here comes a G. 1, 2. Now it comes a B, second string. First finger C. D, C, B. Comes a C. Half notes here, half note here. Here comes the C. Hang on to it for a full 4 beats and stop. Very good. Let's go to the next one. Exercise number 2. We'll go a little bit faster on this one. Ready, play. 1, 2. Very good. I know we kind of kicked it up a notch on that one. Try your best to keep up. You can always go back and review. Let's skip down to number 4. Do number 3 when you practice by yourself, or we'll also do it in the workshop time. But let's do it number 4 right now. This takes you through all the notes, ascending and descending. That's why I wanted to cover this one. Ready, play. Number 4. One, 2, then back up to G. Very good. All right, let's talk about your assignment for this is session 2. This is our assignment. What you need to do for me is the note reading exercises in the book. Do as many of them as you can. The more practice you get, the better. Do the first string exercises. There's also more first string exercises. There's second string exercises and more second string exercises. And then you have both strings together, first and second string. Do all of those exercises. Also, there's 2 songs I'm giving you. Ode to Joy is the first one, and the second one is Jingle Bells. Make sure you can play through both of those at this point. I know it's not quite the most exciting music at this point, but hey, you only know 6 notes, so there's only so much we can do. Anyway, we'll see you next time. All right, welcome to the workshop time. Let's go ahead and get to work. We've got a lot of notes that we've learned and a lot of strings that we've covered, so let's go ahead and go through some of these exercises. The exercises that I'm going to pull from are going to be the more exercises. The first one we're going to look at is the more first string exercises. Okay, let's look at number 1 of that. Starts on that E, good hand position, open E. If you need to write in the notes, try and write in the notes before we get started and come back to me. Here we go, let's try it together. Ready, play. E, 1, 2, F, G, 2, 3, 4. And here's this G. Hold it out, hold it out, hold it out. Now you stop. Number 2. Ready, go. One, 2. Very good. Number 3. Ready, play. 1, 2. 1, 2. Two, 3, 4. Let's speed it up a little bit when we get to number 4. Ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Half note here. One, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Last one down here is 5. It's a 2-line exercise So when you get to the end of that first line, jump down and immediately start reading the second line. Here we go. It's just a little bit longer than the others. We'll try it a little bit faster. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2. Jump down to that next line, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Okay, now we're going to move on to more second string exercises. Start with that first one. Starts on that B. Get your hand position, bracing your hand, open string, ready, play. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Number 2. Ready, play. 1, 2. Now for number 3. We'll go a little bit faster on this one. Ready, go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4. Number 4. Ready, play. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Here comes number 5, another two-liner. Let's kick it up a notch. Let's go a little bit faster. Ready, play. Next line, ready, go. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, we were really cooking on that one. Now let's go to the both string exercises, so it's more first and second string exercises. Okay, now we're going to do more first and second string exercises and go through these. We're going to kick it up a little bit with the tempo to make sure that you're getting it at the right speed. So let's start with number 1. 1, 2, ready, go. Now, if you find that we're going too fast for you, as you practice these over the coming days, you'll get quicker and quicker at them. So the more practice you get, the faster you'll get at them. Number 2. Now we include some of the rest there. Remember, a quarter rest is 1 beat. So you have to kind of count on this one. We'll do it a little bit slower. Ready, play. Rest. 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 Very good. Number 3. This one has a half rest in it. Half rest gets 2 beats. Ready, go. Rest, rest. 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 1, 2. Well, let's do one more of these. This will be number 4. This one jumps around quite a bit. It's going to maybe be a little tricky at first. Ready, play. Rest. That rest is tricky there on that one. I'll let you go through the rest of the exercises there on your own, because I really want to get to the song. Let's talk about Ode to Joy. Okay, now for Ode to Joy, we're combining all the elements that we've learned so far, all of our notes, and also we're going to throw in those chords too. Let's work on those notes first. Ode to Joy. We'll go through it slow one time and then we'll go through it fast. Ready, play. One, two. Next line, go. One, two, last line. Very good. Let's play it one more time. This time we're going to go quite a bit faster. It sounds more like a song. Ready, play. Next line. Very good. Now, if you want to play the chords along with that, remember we have our C chord. We also have our G7th chord. So, at this point, if you want to just play a strum for each note, that's probably pretty good. We're not going to talk about strumming patterns until a later time, but if you want to do just the chords for that, let's just do, I guess we can try and do the whole thing. Let's try it. Ready from the top using the chords. Ready, go. 2, 3, 4, G7th, C, next line, third line. Just keep playing through these. If it's an open measure, you just keep playing through it until the chord changes. Now. Last line. Here's this quick chord change. Very good. We have covered all kinds of things this session, and I hope it's been enjoyable for you. And we will see you next session.